Welcome to Squatch-D where the truth is first before all else. Join your hosts, veteran investigator, TV personality, and author Steve Kulls, and from the Kentucky Bigfoot Research Project and the Kentucky Fried Fixes channel, Chris Bennett. Sit back and prepare to take yourself on a journey with the longest-running Bigfoot podcast, Squatch-D. Here are your hosts, Steve and Chris.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to Squatch-D for today's date, April 17, 2026. I'm your host, your guide, the Squatch Detective, Steve Kulls, along with my co-host down there with the most, Mr. Chris Bennett. Hello, Chris.
Steve, man, it's good to see you. I hope you've been enjoying this nice weather. We've been having some lovely weather here.
It's been good for driving, that's for sure.
Yes, sir. I love it.
So I am sorry, folks. The notifications got sent out late because the old man here was out busting his behind today working. In fact, I didn't get back to the good old hacienda where the offices and studio is until about 20 after 7. So imagine that. Wow. I got my payroll in for the day.
Yeah.
And then automatically switched into show mode. I'm a little beat to say that to the slightest. I'm a little bit beat, but we get a press on because we didn't have a show Wednesday because I was working late that day too. I got a real big case going on. I'm just about done with it. So, and sometimes when you have to drive a little ways to get to talk to some of these people, because I'm talking to people that work with power lines. So,
cool.
Shocking. But so I had to go interview these folks for a compensation case, and I had to drive, with a pit stop to regulate my bladder. The trip ends up to being almost 3 hours each way today, and then I spent an hour with the guy interviewing him, and then the drive back, and then get to my payroll and all that fun stuff. So I'm pretty beat. Harry 51 is back in, and boy, we got a lot of new folks. Welcome to all our new subscribers, by the way.
Quite a few people in chat already.
I see we got
like 30, 40 people in chat.
People
already.
like Elliot, and I see Nathan, who's been here before, but it's good to start seeing. Welcome. And of course, Bigfoot Dwarf. Check out his channel over there on YouTube.
Bigfoot Dwarf 4200. Check his channel out.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, guys.
But we got a little bit of late breaking news going on tonight about the topic du jour of actually the topic of the year, capturing Bigfoot. We'll be going into that real quick. But I haven't had any time to scout Bigfoot reports or anything the last couple of weeks because I've been working my tail off, which is good because who doesn't need money? Right.
Well, so far, they've been like a string of reports out of Ohio. There's been a bunch up in Canada, and just where's the next hotspot? I'm just waiting for it.
Yeah, the last show we did was on the Ontario hotspot.
Yeah.
That was very fascinating stuff. And who's next? Is it Whitehall? Ooh, maybe.
Well, maybe some stuff coming up in Salt Fork soon.
But just so folks know, we will not be doing a show 2 weeks from this Friday, nor will we be doing a show on that Sunday. Well, maybe we will be doing a show that Sunday. Nah, I'm not going to rush it. I'm not going to rush it. The reason being is Steve's going to be at the Ohio Bigfoot Conference, going to be speaking there. And that's a Friday, Saturday event, and I'll be coming home Sunday. So, I don't know what time I'll be plopping in here Sunday, because that's about 8-10 hour drive for me, give or take. So
I still love that name, Harry 51.
Harry.
I love that's great. That's great. I like the way you think.
That is a pretty slick name. So anyway, Chris, what's on your plate? Anything good or?
Same old. We're going to be working on some lawnmowers here coming up because it's that time of year again, and oh boy, it seems like every spring when it's time to start mowing the lawn, you go to drag the lawnmowers out, and some of them don't want to work. They just, oh no, they want to stay asleep. But that's part of it. Nothing Bigfoot, related has been happening here locally. I've been out in the woods a few times, and I've not seen any signs of the little hairy rascals. It's kind of depressing when you think about it.
Right, yeah. Well, what wasn't depressing is when I put the snowblower away back into the shed.
Yes, that's a celebration time.
Because we the whole neighborhood, we all have our snow machines propped and ready to go in front of our houses. That way, when it snows, we go out, we hit it, park the snowblower near the porch, cover it, back in the house. Right. And now we don't have to.
In 2010, man, it was like, I was going out every other day and putting in some miles, in the backwoods hiking department. Yeah. And it was like I was finding something new, some new sign, tracks, something every day, and having sightings too. So it's like I had a, wonderful experience. It's like they were almost crowded over there in that area. And there has not been anything going on much since 2010. Nothing exciting like that.
So,
Frustrating.
Yeah. Well, we shall see. I know the sign in front of the Whitehall Golf Course has fallen. It was in disrepair for a while, and that has fallen off. I got pictures of it when it was in good repair. Plus, I've got a lot of historical Bigfoot pictures from Whitehall, so that's kind of... Right. Or I should say Whitehall. That's how they. The interesting thing is you go to somebody in Whitehall, and that's how they pronounce it. With the they don't pronounce it Whitehall; they pronounce it Whitehall.
Yeah.
The emphasis is on the second syllable, not the first. Yeah. So
I'm from Whitehall.
Whitehall. Yep.
I'm Whitehall. Hall's like the cough drop. Yes.
That's right. Anyway. So we do have a bit of breaking news on the capturing Bigfoot front, and let's pop that up there. Yeah. And basically, what it said is to the world premiere of capturing Bigfoot at SXSW, which is the picture you see there. It's hard to believe it's only been a month. Millions have been talking about it, even though only hundreds have seen it. We're excited to change that soon, so you all get to see what all the buzz is about. A little bit cryptic, but it sounds like it's going to be coming out sooner than later.
It's coming.
So I just we're excited to change that soon.
If they save this for an October, like a fall release, I'm going to be angry.
Yeah. I'm kind of hoping we get a summer release out of this.
Yeah,
but you never know. If you get a streaming deal, they may drop it in a month. Right. We don't know. I just don't know how those things necessarily work. But in the strange front, we will talk about this has been in the news, and we have another bit of capturing Bigfoot news in a little bit. But look at these; these are all scientists that have either died mysteriously or went missing in unexplained disappearances since about 2024. Right. Or 2022. Amy Eskridge, anti-gravity researcher, died 2022, officially ruled suicide, but disputed in some reports. Carl Grillmer, Caltech astronomer, shot and killed in 2026. Suspect arrested, appears criminal, not mysterious. Nuno Lauriera, MIT plasma physicist, reported shot at home. Oh. Jason Thomas, pharmaceutical researcher, found dead in a lake after being missing. Frank Maywald, who is a NASA JPL scientist, died 2024, no public cause released. Michael David Hicks, no date on that. NASA-related scientist death reported with limited detail. And now we go into the missing ones. Neil McCaslin, retired Air Force general tied to advanced aerospace programs, missing since 2026. Monica Jacinto Reza, another NASA JPL engineer, vanished during a hike. Anthony Chavez, Los Alamos worker, disappeared in 2025. Melissa Cassius, another Los Alamos employee, vanished under unusual circumstances. Yeah. And Stephen Garcia, defense contractor, disappeared in 2025.
Well, the Los Alamos people are mostly concerning for me because that's where our nuclear science happens. That's where they come up with the new firecrackers.
So that's really some weird stuff going on there. But is it all coincidence? Who knows?
Yeah, some of them may have just, it might have been time to go, but this missing under weird circumstances, something's wrong.
Well, it just seems like there's a lot of shot and killed, like Grillmare, who is a Caltech astronomer, shot and killed.
Not a good time to
ruled
be a scientist.
Suicide, shot and killed this one. Another one shot at home. A couple of deaths that limited detail or nothing, and then one found dead in the lake. So really, and then you have the 5 that went missing.
Yeah, so, if you guys are out there and got your physics degrees, just kind of keep an eye out. you never know. You can't.
There's the 11 right there. And I saw this being covered in the national news today, so it's kind of interesting because they had another one that
there was a segment on it, and I did some reading on one of the scientists, and don't get me wrong, I can't tell you the name, but they were in New Mexico and they went on a hike and disappeared. And the odd thing was they took a .38 caliber firearm with them during their hike, and yet they still disappeared. So that's kind of strange.
Unless they took the hike to go, bang bang on themselves. But
I don't know.
Anyway, but yeah, isn't that flipping weird?
Yeah, it is.
So who knows?
Strange, odd things happening.
So anyway, let's get on to our last point of the night and why it's so important for us to see the film ourselves before passing any judgment. The other interesting thing, though, is I'm also basing some of this on the producer and the filmmaker, Mark Evans, and I forget the other guy's name. I don't know why. I base some of that on them. And I don't think necessarily they're biased because they have no skin in the game on it. And I think Mark Evans says, hey, we're not trying to disprove Bigfoot exists. That's the farthest thing we want to do.
Yeah, this is about the film that they come up with.
Right.
Yeah,
and they him and the producer seem like real nice guys, and they again were very sad about the loss of Jeff Meldrum. And there was another gentleman they talked to who knew apparently the guy who knew Norm Davis. The guy who developed it, one of his good friends talked to him. And yeah, it's tough to check bias at the door, but I do it, and it's hard for a lot of people to do. But for me as an investigator, I'm kind of trained to check your bias at the door when you walk in. Because you go to crimes, people of all different, social standings, economic standings, different morality standings, stuff like that. And you just have to put that all aside. Unless it helps you further understand what the underlying problem is. So it's... You have to check your bias at the door. You have to treat everything individually. And the people who can't, obviously, are the ones jumping out. Oh, and I can think of a certain guy we've outlined here with the stupid Bigfoot head and the boat video, too, where you can see the wake of the boat leaving the island, before the Bigfoot shows up. His analysis stuff, you can see. His comment was they're trying to prove Bigfoot doesn't exist, and they've flat out denied that. And of course, when you're all in like he is, right? It's tough for people to differentiate. This is a science, an investigation. It's not a religion.
Right.
And unfortunately, far too many people are treating it like a religion. How many people tried to back up because when he got started accused? Again, when you build somebody up to be an icon, which is what people did with Bob Gimlin, it kind of makes them sometimes above reproach. And I dare say it that nobody is above reproach. No. Not I, not you, not anybody in the chat, not Bob Gimlin. Everybody is not above reproach. So you have to, check your bags when you watch this stuff, and that's what we'll be doing when we see this.
Yeah. And hopefully sooner than later.
Well, it sure does seem like that, doesn't it?
Oh, man.
But
I'm just, I've been chomping at the bit to see this thing because I want to see what people are talking about.
Right.
And I'm not going to be I'm not going to pick a bus to ride on before seeing it. No.
And folks in chat, comment away, ask questions away, because Steve's a little worn down tonight. So I had an energy drink just before the show, and that's starting to wind down already. So chat away.
There's a couple of comments I wanted to get up here that I thought was interesting too. And all of them are interesting. Thank you guys. But Elliot made a comment that says, "I'll admit I'm biased in favor of the Patterson-Gimlin film."
Absolutely, but the fact that Elliot, you are here. You are clearly in the group that we got to check our bias at the door. It's going to be tough to do, right? But we're going to do it. And, Elliot, all I can say is that, if you check your bias in at the door, you're going to be able to see things in the film that you're not able to see. Because what happens is when you go into a film with a bias, you go in with blinders, tunnel vision. You ever hear the word term tunnel vision? That's an investigative term, actually. And what that is when you get focused on something, everything else around it becomes nonsense. And right now, everybody is super focused in on the film. Oh, let's look at that film. All right, well, the film may or may not show something. But on the other hand, what are the people saying? Let's take the blinders off and see what the case is really around it.
Well, when I watched Eric's review of the film, and he got to the part to where he was describing the new film clip, he said, it's obviously the Patterson-Gimlin suit.
Right.
All right. Well, wait a minute now. Because I've heard, and keep it real, I don't know Eric, all right? We've never met. I didn't know until Steve showed me that could possibly be a bias there. But I was always giving him the benefit of the doubt, And
it may be true that Eric did check his bias in at the door.
Yes, it's very possible.
But when you have a comment like that lingering out in the public,
that's not good.
that tends to make people question it, especially when we are in a community that questions everything and comes up with conspiracy theories and stuff at the drop of a hat. So we need not to do that necessarily. Saying, oh, well, Eric's biased. There it is. That's proof. No, it's not proof of anything other than the fact that we did have an inclination not to believe in the Patterson-Gimlin film. That we did not know.
I was listening to Bill Munns, who I know and respect, on one podcast or another, and Bill Munns reviewed the film clip, and he said it's obviously a suit. Now, he does not say that the Patterson-Gimlin film is a suit. Right. He says the Patterson-Gimlin film is a living creature, but he said the clip they showed was obviously a man in a suit, the new one. So,
but after looking at the old, the one that we've known for 60 years,
right?
How much bias is there in that particular point too? So we just don't know. We have to all look for ourselves. Exactly. That's the point.
That's right.
And if you're somebody say, well, I'm not going to watch that, then you're not a researcher. You're not an investigator. You got to watch this. You got to watch this. It's important. It's a piece of our history. And if we're going to put this up against, just like I always say, well, why we have skeptics on the channel occasionally. It's because if we want to argue this topic, we're going to have to know what the argument is against it to argue against that, right? It'd be like saying, well, Bob Hieronymus is full of BS. Well, do you know what he said? No. Then how do you know he's full of BS? You have to actually read Greg Long's book. You have to look into the mystery. You have to do all of that. Right. And like I said, my problem with Greg Long's book was and kind of tunnel visioned me a bit, and I'll be the first one to admit it, is that the addition of Philip Morris, who was not the costume maker, I doubt very much he was. Right. He kind of marries that all together in the book, and that's not the way to do. Like I say, that's prosecutions get wrecked because they incorporate an element of the case in the courtroom that is not true, and when that gets revealed, it turns the whole case to shit. And that's I think what happened in Greg Long's book is that
grasping at straws in order to prove his narrative.
Right.
And some of that evidence he had may have been right on the money. But when you throw in other evidence that ain't worth 2 cents, well, that destroys the whole case right there.
Correct. Yep. And we see that right now in people trying to defend the Patterson-Gimlin film when they haven't seen this film.
Right.
This is a cash grab. This is that.
Yeah.
Where's your evidence? Show me your evidence. The cash grab. Well, they got paid. Yeah. They've gotten paid. So we have to look at it from the.
Most people work for money, not fun. Yeah, that's true. And Quintessence of Dust 7 says, "Would you have Eric on the podcast?" Well, absolutely. Eric would be welcome anytime, but first we want to see the movie. All right.
Right.
We want to so we could have a discussion among peers. Not tell us what you saw, because that's kind of limited.
So it's going to be well, again, what we're going to do on the channel.
That makes sense. Rhonda Lee 214 says, also keep in mind that at the end of the day, it is entertainment, edited and marketed as such.
Well, roll that back a little bit. And I'm going to tell you what reason why. Is I have been on a number of documentaries. TV series are marketed for entertainment because they need somebody to come back every week. Right? A documentary is just flat out, this is what happened. And a documentarian doesn't do things for entertainment. They do things to document. And that's what his job was, to document. If you listen to their interviews, they have had this film since the end of 2022. It's been 4 years, right? This is such a cash grab. Why didn't they come out in 2023? Right? If this was all entertainment, why didn't they just come out with it in 2023? No, because they did their homework. They did hours of research on it, and then they hit the ground running. So, and then we find out that Munns and Larry Lund and Meldrum, they were all interviewed not in 2025, in 2024. Right? So it was a whole year that they've already been interviewed. We knew nothing of this until 2025 when the document. Amen. And neither do I. Of course, like I said, I've defended this film on the X-Zone Radio back in the early 2000s, and that, the X-Zone Radio was Canada's like coast to coast AM.
Right. Well, but in your defense, there was nothing that debunked the Patterson-Gimlin film at that time. Right.
And I said, I felt Long's case was kind of weak because of the inclusion of Philip Morris. So to me, that debunked the whole thing as just being a witch hunt.
Right.
And now now that was me as a juror. Now me as an investigator says, okay, now I see where he may have gone wrong by the inclusion of Philip Morris.
But remember, Steve, you can't kick yourself for making a decision based on evidence.
I sleep well at night. Don't worry about that. I mean, I have been in far more serious cases where I have made a misstep before and then corrected course. And that's what you all need to do is that you have to be ready for the course correction. And even if this film is bunk, right? Say we watch this film, it's like nothing is in this that we thought was going to be in this. And this is clearly does not take down the Patterson-Gimlin film. Well, we have to change course to fight that, don't we? We have to change course to argue that. So no matter which way you feel, which way you lean, there's going to have to be a course correction. But I will warn people that if you go in there with a bias, you're going to get tunnel vision. And when you have tunnel vision, you tend to make claims that are totally non-supported. I'll give you a great example, and it happens to do with the Patterson-Gimlin film. That here is a photo of Bob Titmus, John Green, and the tracking dog, as they were killing Sasquatch up there in wherever, right? That was M.K. Davis's, rabbit hole that he got from looking at this and then just, that's this and that's that and that's what they're doing. Well, what proof do you have? Zero. And what does that make you look like? That's why when people ask me to debunk something or people ask me to give my opinion on something, I need to have the full tilt evidence. Without that, we're just doing the same thing M.K. Davis did there. So, Chris,
that's because you give Steve some evidence and he'll just tell you straight up, hey, man, this is really blurry. You can't see anything.
Yep.
Or maybe you should just not release this to the public. Yeah, this is not Patterson-Gimlin film quality here.
I meant to do something earlier that I did not do. I don't know if it's going to help, but
let me put up a couple of comments here. Don Gumow Jr. says, I'm still having trouble getting past lost Patterson-Gimlin Bigfoot film found. Me too, Don. Me too.
Well,
I want to know the story behind why that was lost.
And the story is very well told, I guess, in the film. Not only Eric didn't really talk about this too much, but the director and the producer did. How the film came about. They talked to Norm Davis's friend, who has since passed away. That's why they were very, very glad that they did the film when they did, because they got to talk to Jeff. They got to talk to this guy. I think his name is Jerry, who was a friend of Norm Davis. Right. So they interviewed the daughter. And it's very interesting because I re-listened to the interview today while I was doing my 6-hour drive, something to do. And, it's very fascinating that the association with, all right, so apparently Norm Davis's brother dressed up as a Bigfoot for Roger Patterson in the Yakima area to increase the sightings. And then apparently this guy said that he got almost shot at it one time or something like that. So we'll have to listen to what it is, what the allegations are. Of course, is there any evidence? I have no clue of that other than just the spoken word. But
don't do that in Kentucky.
Well, there is a story of, and even Mark said, I don't think that made the final cut, but there was like 100 stories coming out of this guy about dressing up as the Bigfoot, including one he got shot at.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But then again, is that the truth? Who knows? I mean, it's just spoken word, but we have to, and this is not made for entertain. Well, everything is made for entertaining. You have to have a captivating storyline. And in this case, the storyline is not captivating about the film. The film was a side project, actually. What it is the reunification of a mother and son, and a family. That's what they're putting this out as. That was the human interest part of it.
Well, my wife might be interested in that part, but I'm just interested in the evidence. Okay, I want to see that stuff.
Well, you're going to see it all because they follow Clint around. That's the whole idea of it. So yeah, I mean, is it entertaining? Yes, and I've seen lots of films that are straight documentaries that are entertaining. Yeah. Because they're giving you information you don't have before, or putting you behind the scenes of things you wouldn't normally see. That's entertainment. Right. At the end, they let the viewers decide what the heck they want to feel or what they think about it.
Yeah, and if you guys have been watching the Bigfoot documentaries that have been put on, like Pluto and other places online, right, especially the free ones, the free places. So
let's think about this. And I know people say, well, it's entertainment and it's marketing. And, well, everything is marketing. And let's face it, did not Roger Patterson market with Diatley? Did they not market and entertain people, including the addition of a fake Bob Gimlin at some of these things? Right. Yeah. Right. So tit for tat. I mean, these folks are denying any use of AI. They're denying, anything fraudulent. And of course, if a documentarian whose career is being, he is an award-winning documentarian, and he's already has a documentary on Netflix.
Right. Yep. And Jen said, I think the movie directors did a pretty good.
They sure did. Yep. Yeah. They sure did. And, I still disagree with them that it wasn't they believe it wasn't an ambush when they went up to Bob Gimlin at the event. But like I say, he's at the time he's 90 or, teetering around 90. He's got all these people around him, and that's just not the time nor the place to hit somebody up where they can give you 100% of their undivided attention. You know what I mean saying? Yeah. So to me, that's, and even in their interviews, they said, well, everybody will just have to make up their mind for themselves what was said and what was meant by it.
Yeah. And Rhonda says, not saying it's
no.
Just anything that can be edited to appear a certain way, but she'll keep an open mind. Yeah.
Absolutely, Rhonda. Absolutely. Yeah. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just the general argument for people. Oh, it's a cash grab. Well,
if I come out of the woods with a Bigfoot creature, strapped on my back, carrying him out, yeah, you bet I'm going to figure out some way to make some money out of that. Yeah.
Fine. You know what? Yeah. People say, people who may get bored with this topic, I can't. This is our culture. This is our culture here. Yes. And every little tidbit of information that comes out is fascinating, and I'm glad to see. Of course, folks, for those who don't know, when the documentary is cut, Chris and I are not going to watch it until we go live.
Right.
And then we're going to watch it off screen. We can hear it. You guys won't be able to. Yep. Right. And we're going to watch it and just get a reaction. We're just going to play it straight, and we'll talk through it at times when we need to. And we'll just play it straight out, hour 42 minutes, and then we'll have a hour wrap up. So it's going to be an extra long show that night, but we're going to do a reaction video. Yeah. Well, you can imagine the conversations we're going to have after that. That may be a marathon. That may be a marathon
maybe
night.
6-hour show,
Yeah, we may have to go on at 8 p.m. to watch it, so we can have a discussion from 10 to 11. So that, or whenever the film.
Make a pot of coffee. I hate that stuff, but I'll drink it to stay awake.
Hopefully, we'll have to do that during the movie.
Yeah. I thought this was good.
Some of the folks may have to do it during the podcast, though. Anyway.
Yeah, a lot of times when it's quiet and we're just sitting here going, "Oh my, oh."
Well, because I'll tell you why, Bill. I was a very well-trained firefighter. Okay. In the 1990s, I had a stack of certificates this thick of firefighting certificates, from the training officer workshop to ladder company operations, incident command, rescue operations, confined space awareness, fire and arson investigation. I had all these stacks and my basic firefighter training certificate, which every firefighter in the state needs to attain after they join a fire department, a paid fire department. I even had codes classes as part of that, because sometimes firefighters will walk buildings and look for code violations, right? I had all of those. Why didn't I become a professional or paid firefighter? Didn't have the connections to get in the door. I tried. Heck, I was number 3 on a list. And guess what? Time for a new list. So all the political people that hobnob with all, it's who you know a lot of times. It's who gets you in the door. Right. I mean, think about that, what you just said. How many people go to Hollywood? How many, you go to a restaurant in Hollywood, California or Los Angeles, how many of the waiters and waitresses that are there?
Yeah.
Well, I'm here because I'm trying to be an actor. Right? And they may get a commercial, but that's it. That's their span of their career. Right. And only but a handful of a select few every year get that elevation.
Yeah, probably because they served somebody at the restaurant they were working in, and the people they served worked in Hollywood, and they said, hey, guy's got a nice look to him, or that girl's kind of cute,
Right. And don't forget, if this is a suit crafted, it took Patterson a year to make, because he got the idea in '66. We know that from his book, right? If this is true, if you look at that, the Bigfoot with pendulous breasts, right, and that book came out in '66.
Yeah, but that sighting happened in like '55 though, or something like that.
Right. But you understand, he talked to William Rowe.
Right.
So now he gets that idea. And then, if this is the way I'm playing it out in my mind, then you have the Abominable Snowman Club of America, right? That thing. Yeah. Well, how are we going to pump up the memberships to that? We're going to come out with a film, right? We talked about the Stagecoach Nevada with Biscardi and the alleged woman that always remained anonymous,
The film as a promotional item fits.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't realize it was going to be that good, Oh,
I think they knew exactly what they were doing. They had a lot of time, and don't forget the brains of Al Diatley to plan it too, the business brains.
Oh, no, Jen. Jen says MK doubled down on the massacre thing again. I haven't seen that. Oh.
Well.
No, say it ain't so. I'll have to go check out MK's channel. You can't
erase in some people illusionary superiority. On what evidence, MK? On what evidence? Well, that looks like blood. Looks like. It's not blood. Do you have proof it's blood? No. Bios, Condios, my darling.
I'll have to go check it out and see what he's talking about.
No, I'm never going to bother.
I am. I like MK. I give him the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, I don't.
I've said it many times before. I do not see what he sees a lot of the times. But,
right. And then he's trying to sell the Mike Sells films. He's trying to pass that.
I know that, yes.
Right.
We know about.
So how far is the apple fall from the tree from credibility? Right. You're saying there's a massacre at a Patterson Gimlin film. You're trying to pass all these videos from Texas that are proven hoaxes as something that are real. Come on.
Oh, I didn't know this. Now, Rhonda says, I admit I'm a little iffy on Mark Evans. He mainly markets himself as a documentary coach who charges people for services like initial concept and distribution strategy.
So?
Well, he's making money.
Making money. Yeah, and what does he do?
He teaches.
He teaches,
Yeah, he teaches. So, when you teach about documentary filmmaking, your services would be worth a little money.
Hey, when I worked for, when I was a private investigator, I also sold security services and electronic services. And,
yeah, he gets awards.
Yeah, and he's got awards. Yeah. And like I said, you always try to branch out and do what you can to make money. I mean, you'd be silly not to.
I think that's really related.
Yeah, very, very true. I wasn't going to say it, Jen, but thanks for going there.
I'm gonna look because I'll view MK stuff. I respect the man for what he's done, the work he's done, but no, I don't agree with everything that he sees.
When I lost respect from him when he tried to pass off that fence walker video, completely wrong.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
And I was there. That's when I lost my respect from him. Like, if you're gonna, and he doubled down on that after I came out with my video. I'm like, oh, whatever. Explain why the post is moving every time he steps over there. He's dropping the whole fence down, 6-7 inches to step over it. And, he's trying to say, oh, that's got a 4-foot fence. It stepped right over that. No, he pushed it down about 1/2 foot to 3.5 foot. And Mike Sells was like 6'7", 6'6". He was a tall guy. 6'8", somewhere around. He was a big guy, tall and skinny. And it just so happens the Bigfoot in that video is tall and skinny. It looks like a ghillie suit. And you could actually see the pant cuffs in it, too. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
If you see pant cuffs on a ghillie suit, how delusional can you be?
Right.
And that's why I lost all my respect for him, unfortunately.
Well, I've got I don't know if I ever took a photo of it.
His heart's in the right place. His mind is not.
Yeah.
That's the problem with a lot of people. Their hearts are in the right place. Their minds are not. And that's the whole purpose of this show, is to get people in their right minds, is to get everybody focused on what they need to see, what they do, and whether you agree, disagree, that's fine. Come up with a solid, credible argument. We will discuss it.
Well, let's give me an idea. Now, I'm going to go back to the home farm because we were talking about fences just now. And there's a place there where I did not have a sighting, but I had a trackway I followed. And the creature bent the top run of the fence, bent it down to walk across it as he stepped across it. But he evidently had bent the top of the fence, pushed the top of the fence down, and that held. He bent that wire.
Mamma mia, that's a spicy meatball.
I'm gonna photo that, and we're gonna do some measurements. That's give me a good idea.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Chris is off in another investigation, which is a good thing.
Yeah. Didn't thought it. I mean, it's not important. It's not important, but the height measurement of that fence, and to see the bend that this creature created, because that was a brand new fence at the time.
Yeah.
Brand new.
I just remember something. I haven't even eaten dinner today.
Oh, no.
Haven't had time.
Oh, Don said maybe they massacred someone in a suit. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they dang sure would have buried the body then in that case when they...
Yeah, if after this film comes out, if it is deemed a hoax, boy, MK's really gonna cuckoo for Bob. Okay, so Rhonda doesn't know about the massacre theory, and let me put it in a nutshell. MK colorizes the film using a red filter, sees that this water in Bluff Creek is kind of a reddish, rustish type of color. It actually looks brown to me. Claims that's blood. And then he just pops out of this massacre theory that I think that Bob, because look at all that blood. It's not blood, it's water. And besides, blood, if it's sitting there, because blood is in water, blood's main component is hemoglobin, which is made of what, Chris?
Yes,
iron. Iron. And what happens when you put iron in water? It oxidizes.
Yeah.
So that would be a very blackish, sludgish type of thing. Not red, not even light brown. It would be black sludge if there was a massacre the week prior or whatever.
Plus, it would take gallons and gallons of blood to color water.
Yeah.
Oh man. But now, it goes pretty deep. He goes into the thing where they brought in heavy equipment, an excavator or a backhoe or something.
And there's no evidence of that.
No, and dug a big pit and buried all the bodies.
And this is just his imagination running wild. Then he takes a picture of a guy by the name of Keith Chiazari, a dog named White Lady, who was just a companion dog, and John Green. And they tried to turn it into, that's Bob Titmus. It was not. It was Keith Chiazari, and it's very well documented in the newspaper at the time. And White Lady, and there was a picture of Chiazari and White Lady in front of the airplane. He was a pilot, and they were getting off at this thing, so he tagged along because what the heck, I got to take him back. So he went along for the ride and showed up and looked and had his dog sniffing around or whatever. But
right. I would encourage you to go watch his massacre theory if you want to learn about it from the horse's mouth, and then see what you think about it. See if you see the same things or not.
But then ask, where is the evidence? Because MK did a great job at selling Bluff Creek sand at these conferences. Did he ever have one of those vials ever tested for blood content? It's pretty easy. They would find elements of iron in there and hemoglobin in there. So I don't know.
Yeah. That's what I wonder too. The Bigfoot dwarf,
right?
4200. Where would the bodies be if it was a massacre?
Yeah.
If they were identified, they could identify the spot. I would personally pay for a backhoe to go in there and recover that.
So let me give you the and why did they bury him? Because they were worried they were going to get caught. So instead of proving Bigfoot exists by presenting one of those bodies, they produced this film instead, right? That's in question for the last 60 years. And the reason why they did that was. Very good, Rhonda. I love it. So look at it from a criminal psychology perspective. If you did something you thought was illegal, right? Would you put a film out there with the crime scene on it? Say, look at me, look at me, look at me. No, you wouldn't do that. You'd be like, we can't talk about this at all. Right?
I don't even know where Bluff Creek's at. I don't know what you're talking about.
His motive, MK, motive. What's the motive of doing that? What's the motive? To get a film, to get a 60-second film? Right? Instead of just saying, here's an arm, here's a leg, here we found this, right? Somebody must have shot it.
Yeah.
Not like convention, not like ballistics were that advanced as they are today in 1967, but
no, dude, you could just use the excuse. It was coming right at me. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know about a stump thing. I don't know. Did you advertise the stump thing, Steve? I don't recall.
Oh,
what are we talking about here?
No, I know what he's talking about vaguely. Sorry, I've been so busy and I'm pretty tired tonight. I'm pretty spent tonight. My mind is ragu right now, but I see I'm talking about food, and I'm not hungry, but I'm not hungry. So,
Rhonda's a comedian. I like Rhonda.
Good jail.
Look at all the blood.
Rhonda's a comedian. She'll fit right in here.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
But all right, Chris. Let's get. I've said it.
Oh, MK says there's a Sasquatch crouched or laying behind the left stump. Yeah, I think I watched one of his episodes or one of his videos that he did, and he said there were multiple Sasquatch in the Patterson-Gimlin field, and I can look at that myself, and I can do through paranoia.
Why was it a little Bigfoot?
The tiny one can't take a hint. He doesn't understand. He's small.
Oh, which is supposedly pops up.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. I've had some of those.
There's, and you know what? Let's go back to the.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the testimony of Bob Gimlin, who said he'd only seen one.
Right.
He says, there's been people that have talked over the years. Now, this is how many Bob Gimlin interviews I've watched. I know what he said verbatim on this was, I know there's been a lot of people that say, oh, there was one here, there was one there, there was one here. I've only seen one. Like a little hairy Pop-Tart.
Yeah, it'd pop up like a little hairy Pop-Tart. No, I did send MK some stuff about the whack-a-mole Sasquatch where they're behind the thing and they pop their head up.
Pop up.
So I don't know.
Pop up. Pop up.
Yeah. I don't know if he's used that for one of his videos or not. I don't think he has. Hope he hasn't.
Yep. Everybody, okay, ready? Start.
It was in Patty's purse.
Right in the coin purse.
Yes.
Oh.
She's carrying a purse made out of animal hides.
Hey, it's 9:56, Chris.
Okay, guys. We're going to get out of here. These guys are killing me tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate each and every one of you. And especially all the comedians we got over.
You know, the funny thing is since I've let you take over the chat, all I see you do is sitting there laughing all the time.
They're great, man. They killed me. But we know we've got the greatest audience we could ever hope to have. And we are so humbled and appreciative of you guys. Thank you so much. This is only possible because of you. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Smash that thumbs up. Leave a comment. That's the best way to support the channel. If you get a chance, you could go over to the merch store. You could buy some merchandise. Check out Steve's books. He's got a lot of great stuff on the comment, and got an upcoming class, forensic interviewing, forensic witness interviewing for Bigfoot research. Check it out. New class coming up. Don't forget to sign up for that. And again, thanks you guys. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next time.
Hey, folks, on behalf of me and everybody else, it's Friday. It's the weekend, bitches. Yeah, you know what I'm going to be doing in about, I give it maybe 35 minutes. I'll be sound asleep. I am pooped. And I still got to write a little bit tomorrow, so I got to put in some time tomorrow. Maybe I'll do it Sunday. Nobody shows up to the office till Monday anyway. But I'm pretty beat. But still, we managed to pull a show up because I love you guys, and that's why we do this. Folks, on behalf of me and everybody else, have a great weekend. We'll see you on the flip side, and we'll see y'all here Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern for our 2-hour edition of Squatch-D Love you guys. Peace.
We thank you for being here with us on Squatch-D TV. If you haven't taken the time yet, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And oh yes, hit that notification bell too. We don't want you to miss anything. If you really like our content, you should consider becoming a member, and it's really inexpensive and a great way to support not only the show, but honest Bigfoot research. Everyone have a great week. Be safe and God bless. We will see you all here next time on Squatch-D TV. Keep on squatching.